So what did you put for 12 and 19? Ronnie. So 12 is less than 19. All right. What did we put for 212 and 190, Delilah? Okay. What did we put for 15 and 1 1/2, Aiden?
15 is greater than 1.
Okay. What did we put for 9 and 200 and 9 and 2/10? Say bye. 6 and 5 or 50,000s and 6 and 500s. What did we put for this one? Kaya.
6 and 50,000 is equal to 6 and 500.
Right, because if you just get rid of that 0, they're the same number. Okay. What about 4 tenths and 9 and 40 tenths? What do we put for this one? Let's give it a go. Camden?
4 tenths greater than 9 and 40.
Yep. Yep. All right. 940. Sorry, I'm not ready to math yet today. All right. 19/24 and 19/21. What do we put for this one? Zoe? 21st. Yeah. Yep. It is less than. All right, and then the last one, 16, 17, and 11, 12. So what do we put for this one? Everything good? Not equal to. Not equal to. They're similar, but they're not equal to. Christiana?
16 and 17 is less than 11 12.
Said less than? Sure. Huh? Okay. Jonathan?
16 and 17 is greater than 11 12.
Yeah.
Because 11 12 has bigger chunks, so that means the missing piece after one will be bigger than the missing one out of 16 and 17.
Yep. Good explanation. All right, so please make sure you have the correct answers for your warm-up. Now, 4.2, those little cards that I passed out to your groups. What I need you guys to do is take everything off of your table, or make the middle of your table available, say it that way. All right, so you have 2 stacks. One stack is much thicker than the other. So what I want you to do is the smaller stack, I want you to put it to the side, and the thicker stack is what you're starting with right now. If you're not sure, I can come and help you. All right, so it says you are going to be putting these numbers in order from least to greatest. So the numbers in this stack, the big stack that should be in the center of your table right now, we're putting them in order from least to greatest. When you are done, I want you to stand up. It's not a rush, it's not a race. Just put them in order and then stand up for me. Okay? Go ahead.
This is 2.
I wasn't really good. I was good.
2.5.
Yeah. Well, no,
It's not
Right there.
Desmond, get off your paper and help your first.
I can't read that.
Stop.
This is 87.
I know, but no, I said I told you guys. I said there's two.
Yeah, that's 15.
No. This one's bigger than two. When you look first, there's a 7 right there.
That goes there, that goes there. I'm just gonna go.
Could make it like go.
Yeah, you go right under it. I'm trying, okay, I'm gonna say or make you roast half. No, we'll make it let's do it. Oh, it's no. Yeah, I know. He said same thing. It's too I know this is over. Okay, so it'd be 2 and 2 thirds. I know. 2 thirds, which is bigger than. He doesn't know vertical. Yeah. What is this? What is that? Yeah, what is a number? I was just gonna do it. What is number 4? 4, 5. Number 4, 5, and
1 more minute. 1 more minute. About 30 seconds.
Isn't 1 point bigger than 0?
yeah,
That's bigger than 0.
because
The only thing was the 0.
I didn't put it there. I know
I bet you did.
Oh, it was her. I watched her. I put it, yeah, I put it there. And then
You're the older one.
yeah, but that's, I feel like she did.
All right. So at this point, hopefully, you have your numbers in order or almost in order. Now, you're taking that small stack of numbers and you are going to add these numbers into your number line that you essentially just made. So you might have to move some things, spread some things out to fit these numbers in. All right, again, stand up when you are finished. The one you just on top.
Yeah, just put it like below it.
Yeah, my mom. Yeah, that's your fault. I don't look at
It can't be the same number. We have negative 9. 23 over 25. Negative 1 has to be.
I was trying to grab 90. Then they're gonna all be so you have to go from negative and negative. Oh, you need to calm down. Well, you're gonna have negative 1.5. That's just here. That was here. I know you don't realize. You got one. Wait, aren't you? Will you drop another? I didn't. I was like way down there. We're going up getting it. On your chair. I got up. Give me a yes, and one. I'll show you my building. 9 over 8, which is 1 and 1 8. Wait. There. There you go. Wait.
That is supposed to go there.
Okay, I'm missing
Yeah, that's where you have your number line finished.
Oh, you were already sending me the number. Y'all, you guys go pick it up.
Sometimes as a win it and there's a no in it.
Okay, I'm gonna go sit down now because you can't
Put it down yet.
So we'll go from what are we doing? Go up here. That makes sense. Okay, start that like all the way. We can't remember that. No, he was doing but what about oh, we have to yes. Okay, now to give him 8. So then 11.
All right, about 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Yeah. Wait, that you're looking for that. No, that's 11. 11? That's 11.
All right. Quiet down. Okay, so hush. You put your numbers in order. The first set. What did you notice about all of those numbers? They were all what?
Positive.
They were all positive numbers. All right. Now the second set that you had. What did you notice about those numbers? Troy? They were negative numbers. So we do have to be careful with our negative numbers because sometimes we think, okay, well, if it's a negative 22, that's actually a really big number. But in reality, is that a big number? No, that is a fairly small number. So I want you to look at your list and compare it to the answers. So this is what your list should look like. So starting with negative 23, you should have negative 23, negative 22 and a half, negative 22, negative 10, negative 9, negative 8, negative 7 and a half, negative 7, negative 5.5, negative 5, negative 3, negative 2.5, negative 2, negative 9/8, and negative 1. Did everyone get that one right?
Yep.
Okay. Negative 1/4, 0, 1/4, 1, 9/8, 2, 2.5, 8/3, 3, 4, 5, 5.5, 6, 7, 7.5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17, 22.5, 25, 29, 30, 53, 62, 78, 87, 99, and 100. Okay? So how do we do? Is it okay? Alright, so the next step that I'm going to ask you, I want you to pick the most responsible person in your group to do this.
Me. I'm more
I don't need to hear who it is. What I need you to do is you're going to re-separate the two piles. So all the numbers that were in the small one were negative, and all the other ones go in one pile. I need you to mix them up so they're not in order for the next class. And then put them neatly in two piles on your table, and then get your notebook back out. Mix up the first set and the second set that's separate. Because we're going to do the same thing for the next class.
What do you? Did he even say which year? She said.
Responsible.
No, that's the same thing.
Alright, let's go. This should not be taking too long. And then get your paper back out so we can move on with the rest of the lesson today. That's it. And then you can just put them in a pile on your table separately so that there are still two piles. About 10 more seconds. Yasmin, are you drawing again on your paper? If you are, baby, go outside because you're not supposed to be here today. Stop drawing on your paper. All right, so we are going to go ahead and move on to 4.3, so comparing points on a number line. So it says use the following terms at least once to describe or compare the values of points M, N, P, and R. So we're looking at greater than, less than, opposite of, which we typically haven't talked about opposites, but opposites are, like if it's 1, the opposite of 1 is -1. So it's just the positive and negative of that number. And then obviously we know what a negative number is. Alright, so what can we, for greater than? Give me, and using the points on the number line, what 2 points can we use to talk about greater than? Lily?
P and R.
So put it all together.
The point represented by P is greater than the point represented, is less than, the point represented by R is greater than the point represented by P.
So R is greater than P. Okay? What about less than? So what phrase can we come up with for less than? Kaya?
The point represented by M is less than the point represented by N.
So N is less than N, you said? Perfect. Alright, what about opposites, or opposite of or opposites? So again, you kind of have to say, okay, well this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Alright, so which two numbers are opposites? Like I said, an opposite is essentially the positive or the negative. Mikhail? So P is the opposite M, you said? Okay, and P is a positive 5, and M is a negative 5. All right, and then what's the last thing that we can describe as a negative number? Which one? We have two options. Where? Or what?
Negative numbers.
All right. Any questions about the number 1? Let's slide over to number 2. So it says, tell what the value of each point would be if P is 2.5, N is negative 4/10, R is 200, and M is negative 15. All right? So if P is negative 2.5, so we're looking over here. This is negative 2.5. You gotta essentially work together with your group members and figure out, okay, so this obviously no longer equals one whole number, right? So if this is 2.5, you gotta figure out what the value of each tick mark is in between. So what that means is if P is 2.5, M equals negative 2.5. Because we know P and M are opposites of each other, right? Okay. Then N is going to equal negative 1, and R is going to equal 4. Come on, bring focus. All right, so you are working with your group members to answer their B, C, and D. Okay, when you are finished, and if you need to, you can flip your paper over. You can draw number lines. You can use your notebook and draw number lines if that will help you. I'm going to give you about 6 minutes to get this done. If it will refocus. All right, go ahead.
So for me, so n is negative so 410. Negative 410. So if n is 410 over negative 410, that means it's going by 2 times. So
M would be negative, and N would be
so we take the 4n closest to 0 we need -2. And would be 1.
Here's a helpful hint. Use the information that we wrote for number 1. So your group might come up with a different number than another group. But what you need to understand is R is greater than P, M is less than N, P and M are opposites, and M and N are negative numbers. Does that make a little bit more sense?
Which means that
All right.
I didn't write anything in the next. That doesn't mean how R equals 4. I didn't even write anything for A. She gave me the answer. A? I have no A. She gave me the answer. One word. She literally gave me the answer. I can't see that. Okay, well, since M equals what? M. I said M. No. I said M. Oh. M in the alphabet. So monthly M equals 2.5. Okay, and then below it, put an N.
Oh yeah, that was my other.
Okay. N equals -1. And then R under N under N. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does because you have to write from under there too. And what? P. Okay, and then R equals 4. Yay! R equals 4. Come on. Me. Okay, there. No, there. Stop acting dumb. No, you're not. Diana. You have to be ready. Are you saying it? Yeah. Oh. Do you even know where you're doing?
No, but it says.
Girl, this is what M is. This is what M is, right?
So and M is less than N, so negative or 42. Negative 42. No, 2.
You guys have 2.5 minutes.
Okay. Wait, You're forced. You said you were 4. So if you add that back in 4, 6, and 7. I'm 5 foot. No, I'm yes. Let's figure out. Okay, what did you write? R24. Where you can't just read each one and not take the I said no, that's a 42. That's not 42. A circuit is so big. R is 0.54. Wait, is it 0.54?
All right. Let's go ahead and go over this. All right, so what did you guys come up with for B? So let's start with M. What did you come up with for the value of M? What's the one criteria that M has to have? It has to what? No? Be less than N. So it means technically any number less than N will be right here, correct? All right, so Jonathan, what did you come up with? said negative 0.7? 0.10? You just gave me like 7 numbers there. What are we going with? -1? Okay. Alright, what about P? Alright, what about P? So the only criteria for P, well, P has a couple, but in this case, what do we know about P? It's the opposite of M. So if M is -1, what can we write P as? Delilah? We can write it as 1. Alright, not the only answer, but could be written as 1. Alright, and then the last one, what is R? It's not the only answer, guys. These are just, because we have multiple answers that can fill into this as long as it meets the criteria, right? So if you don't have -1 and 1, but you have -4 and a +8, that's okay. Alright, so don't get concerned if you don't have these exact numbers. Alright, Lily, what's our answer for R?
1.16.
And what is the criteria for R?
That it's greater than P.
Yeah, and you said 1.16?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, that works. Alright, what about C? So they're saying R is 200. So then what do we know about M? Hold on. So which one do we want to start with? Which one do we want to start with for this one? Is your hand up, William, or are you stretching?
Stretch.
Levi.
E.
P? Alright, what'd you write for P?
197.
100 and what?
97.
97? Because what does it have to be?
It has to be
Not greater than, but
less than.
less than R. So as long as it is less than R, you're good. Alright, what's the next one? We have M and we have N. What's another one? Okay? Okay, so in this instance, it would be a -197. Alright, and then what about N? What do we have for N? Delilah? You said -200? Okay, and the criteria for N is what?
Greater than M.
Greater than?
I meant less than M.
Less than M. Alright, so again, doesn't have to be these exact numbers, but understand the criteria for each one. Alright, and then the last one, so I'm gonna put P, N, R. Alright, so we're saying M is -15, so let's start with P. So what could P possibly be? M, is your hand up?
Yeah.
Okay?
15.
15. Alright, what about N? What about N? What about N? Noah. Maybe? You said -5? Why -5? What's the criteria? Has to be greater than N? M? Sorry. Has to be greater than M. Alright, and then the last one, R. What can R be? William?
18.
18. And why is it 18?
It is greater than P.
Just has to be greater than P.
Yeah.
Alright, I know that was a little bit weird because there are multiple answers to this, but just again, make sure that your answers meet the criteria for each one of those numbers. Alright, go ahead, glue this in on this page.
Because N has to be bigger than M.
Ooh, you're right. You're right, so that would have to be any, what, like -190? That would work, right? Yes. Thank you for catching that. Alright, you're getting your cool down. As soon as you get your, as soon as you get your notes glued in, please go ahead and get started on your cool down. This is getting turned into the bin when you're finished. Please make sure you put first name, last name, date, and period on this. And then you're working on either Imagine Math, Lexia, or your typing class. I know, I forgot and had to make it like super quick, so that's why I don't know what paper. Alright, there should be no talking at this point.